jumping in to ask questions or whatever has been great. So let's not treat this like a lecture. Let's treat it like a conversation. I'd love to just get everyone's stage feedback as we go through it, and of course look at Q&A from the audience. So maybe we'll do a little bit of that. Try to keep it short. No promises, as always. And hello, the other half of the Noxic duo is here. How's it going,
Hey,
Nox?
how's it going,
How's the
everyone?
trio?
Nice to be
Morning,
here.
Knox.
By the way, I was saying
Hey,
when you
Nox.
showed up, we're going to be doing another little summary of one of the lessons, and one of your games makes an appearance in this lesson. So we're going to get a little
Wow.
bit of a Nox cameo for some game design tips.
I have an idea which game it is.
It's one that I think has earned its place in the Astrocade pantheon, if I'm using that word correctly. Probably not. So if we can get through that reasonably quickly, then we will jump into playtesting as always. And I think, I don't want to speak for Pika, but I believe Pika has worked his magic yet again today and put together like a nice balance of game picks, links to play through. So hopefully we'll be reasonably organized. Let's find out. Okie dokie. I will share my screen. Sec. Okay. Lesson 6 is called Optimizing Your Game's First Impression. This one may seem a little bit abstract because when you're making a game, you're thinking a lot about stuff that feels very functional, like things blowing up or collecting points or making the game more difficult. But this idea of a first impression, especially on Astrocade, may be one of the most important decisions you can make as a creator because there are so many games on our platform. I think we literally have more than 75,000 published games already, and that is growing by about 1,000 games every day. So the numbers are just eye-watering and ridiculous. What that means is that it's a player's world, right? Players just run the table because they have all the content they could ever ask for, and if a game isn't perfect, they move on to the next one. Like, why not? They're everywhere, they're free, right? Whereas when you're the creator, all you've got is your game. Players can play any game, but you've just got the one game you're publishing. So it's a very, very lopsided kind of dynamic. And the reason I mention all that is because you as a creator really cannot afford to tempt your players to move on. And I know that may sound like I'm encouraging you guys to be lowest common denominator, make your games dumb, make your games simple. And yeah, to some degree, maybe I'm saying that a little bit, but that's not the main idea. Ultimately, you should make whatever game you want to make. But whatever kind of game you're making, whether it's hardcore, casual, whatever, that first impression really has to grab the user because that's basically your one chance to get your hooks into them. And if you don't make that work, there's a very good chance they will just swipe to the next game and all of your work will be for nothing, right? I'm being a little bit dramatic, but it's a pretty good mentality to keep in mind. Knox asks, any ETA on the faster approval of games? I can't remember how much we've talked about here. Gabe is our kind of our go-to guy who's in charge of everything to do with what we call our QA pipeline, our quality assurance pipeline. We've mentioned this before. I think Andre mentioned it during the AMA this week that it's a good problem to have, but I mentioned like 1,000 games a day. Every single one of those games that makes it to the feed has been reviewed by a human to ensure that it's at least playable. It's not some Bitcoin mining scheme. It's not full of NSFW stuff, and it's not going to crash your phone. So we do like a basic level of playability testing, and actually a little bit beyond basic. And anyone that's gotten feedback from our QA team, I know it's frustrating sometimes, that will kind of demonstrate that there actually is a lot of thought that goes into moderating the games. The point, though, is that's a huge bottleneck. We have an enormous amount of games going through a relatively small team, and we keep hiring. We're expanding that team all the time, but there's still kind of a ceiling to how much humans can do. We're also building and investing in more advanced AI tools to automate more and more of this process, but that's an ongoing project. It's not going to be done tomorrow. So we are working as hard as we can to bring those numbers down, but it's going to be more of a slow reduction for the next few weeks, probably the next couple months, as opposed to some breakthrough that just makes it instant next week.
Did you notice like a better quality of games because of that slowdown? I think that's interesting also as well. Because...
No, it's the opposite. I think the quality is that they do their best. It's not that it's good or bad quality, in my opinion. It's just the reason we have that slowdown is we announced our newest round of funding about a month ago now. We did a big media push and kind of got out there on a couple more social media platforms, and it basically worked. We've had a huge influx of users since then, and it's stabilized a little bit, but we got a big spike. And it just means we have just way more games coming in. It's just that simple, unfortunately. But it's all the more reason, like, we try to get your games on the feed as literally as fast as we possibly can. But because there are still limits to that, one of the best pieces of advice I can give all of you guys is don't take anything for granted when you're publishing a game. And what I mean by that is assume that this is going to be your one shot for like the week or something. Because, if you want to make another game, if your first game doesn't work out, it takes time to make the game and then it takes time to get the game approved. So that's a relatively, high cost, high delay kind of process. So if you have a current game that you're about to publish, don't leave anything to chance. Do everything you can to make sure that game has a good shot. And that basically brings us back to this idea of a first impression. This is also a lesson in which we introduce an idea that is very common in the game industry. Everyone should have this idea in mind. We call it the FTUE, or the FTUE, some people call it. And it means first time user experience. And it's basically what it sounds like. It means if you're playing this game for the first time, what is that experience like? And that's, in fact, anyone that's been paying attention to office hours, that is the main thing we're trying to do with playtesting. Playtesting is giving you an opportunity to watch somebody play your game for the first time that has no idea what it is, no idea what's coming, and see what they react to. Do they find it clear and understandable? Are they confused by things? Is there a part of that process that takes too long? Is there like a loading screen that takes forever? Are there too many menus? Is there backstory that they can't skip or whatever? These are all the things that go into a first-time user experience. And anyone that's gone through lesson 1 will hopefully know the other big important term, which is TTF, which means time to fun. It's basically how many seconds it takes from starting the game before something fun happens, right? And of course, in a perfect world, your TTF would be as low as possible. So FTUE and TTF are very closely related. They're both concepts that make you think about the very first few seconds of a brand new user playing your game. Because like I said, that's kind of where you win or lose a lot of your chances to make it. Let's see. So I'm seeing some other questions in the I'm seeing some other questions in the chat.
Yeah, we've kind of gone off the rails here talking about IPs, which doesn't really have anything to do with Academy. So my fault for steering us off course there.
No, it happens. It's okay. Let's see. So yeah, IP is a whole other question. How about this? We're going to do an AMA on Monday. I would strongly advise bringing that question up because IP is one of those topics. It's really complicated, and none of us are lawyers. I mean, we have lawyers, but obviously we on stage today are not lawyers. So a lot of it's kind of counterintuitive. Like sometimes things you think are fine are not fine and vice versa. So I don't have any good answers for you today, but I know it's something that we as a company are spending more time thinking about. As we get bigger, we just become more visible and it becomes a bigger deal if people are making games that use IP that we don't have the rights to. So no clear answers for you right now. And by the way, it also doesn't mean that you need to like stop using IP today, but it does mean that this is something that maybe over the course of the next 6 months, 12 months, whatever, we as a platform are going to have to start taking seriously. So here's the way I would sum this up. My best advice, it's like we talked about those animated GIF thumbnails. Like for now we're allowing them, but we always reserve the right to like ban them if they're a problem. Same thing with IP. Make whatever game you want to make. If you want to make a Naruto game, make a Naruto game. Just think to yourself, a year from now, maybe even sooner than that, if for whatever reason Astrocade has to crack down on that thing, could you either adapt your game to not require Naruto, or could you just make a new game and be okay with that? But if it's like your passion project and it's your baby, maybe you don't make that an IP game, because we can't promise you that the future of that is going to be open to games that violate copyright and stuff like that. So
yes, or in the future, if we have a lot of IP games, or you having a lot of IP games on your account, and we have to end up shutting down all IP games to protect, the platform, then you might actually lose some of your games.
Exactly. So yeah, Naruto. I throw ninja star at your face, man. I think Russian ninjas are underrepresented, so I strongly support Knox's idea. Okay, so back to the lesson. There's a video that is linked to in the lesson that is a really good, quick overview if you just want to get some good instincts on how to make a good first impression in your games. We are in the process over time of kind of making more video and unifying it with Astro Academy. For now, we have a couple random ones, but I still think they're pretty good, and so we link to those whenever they are relevant in a tutorial. And so I advise you guys to both read the lesson, it's relatively quick, and check out the video. It'll give you a good just primer for how to think about first impressions. But a big part of any game's FTUE is tutorials. We talk about it a lot here in office hours. And let me kind of cut to the chase. It's different. The structure of the lesson's a bit different, but for the purpose of a chat, here to me is always the punchline, the takeaway. Please do not make the wall of text. As I say in the lesson, if this is how your game starts, you might as well just replace all this text with "Don't play my game." It's a faster way to say the same thing, because if I'm looking to play a game and have fun and do something colorful and exciting, and this is what I see, it's like I'm begging you not to play it, right? I'm not naming names, by the way. This is from kind of a fake little test game that was made to make the screenshot. But we see games all the time that basically look identical to this, right? And it's just common sense. Nobody goes to Astro because they're like, I want to read a page of text, like it's the license agreement for some new product I bought, right? It's just not interesting, and it's a turnoff. And again, I've mentioned this a lot as well, not everybody speaks English at all, or at least as a first language, and this could be a lot of unclear text for a reader that is used to a different language. It's just a bad experience, right? So one of my most, exactly, is toxic cuts to the chase. One of the most important things you can do to ensure your game's chances is don't overwhelm the user with something boring and dense and complicated. Just give them something fun and easy. So getting back to what you often get at the beginning of a game, which is a tutorial, to me, there are basically 3 things you should do in a tutorial to make it correct, to make it a good tutorial, not a bad one. First of all, like I said, make it as visual as possible. You're always going to need a little bit of text, probably, but do as much effort as you can. Put as much effort as you can into cutting that text down. If you want to tell the user to do something, make it like a short fragment of a sentence. Don't make it a paragraph, right? Make it interactive. I'm going to demonstrate all this in a second, by the way. Interactive just means instead of reading it, I'm doing it, right? Instead of just telling me what to do, force me to demonstrate it as the player. And then contextual, which is really important, is show me that tutorial when it matters. Don't give it to me in advance. I'm not going to read it. I'm certainly not going to memorize it, and I'm probably not going to remember it when I need it later on, which is kind of the worst of all worlds, because it means that not only are you making my experience kind of crappy, but you're also then robbing me of the instructions that I need later on. You're getting both wrong, right? So here's an example, and most of you know this, but for anyone that doesn't, it's really important. This is a match 3 game I was working on a while ago called Jungle Gems. But really I think one of its most important roles now is I just use this to demonstrate what I think a good tutorial is like. So it's just a standard match 3, like we've seen a million times, but it begins with what I call a spotlight tutorial, which basically means the whole screen goes dark except for this little area here, which is whatever you're supposed to look at. And then it just says what this means. So it'll say, clear this many blue gems to complete level 1, right? So the user really can't look at anything else. I'm forcing them to look here. I'm giving them, this could probably be even shorter, but it's a relatively short sentence, and it's a visual connection. I'm pointing to it like with a dotted line, right? And then the next example is swap gems to clear 3 of the same color, right? So what the game does is it just finds an example on the game board of where there's a match about to be made, and it just tells the user, just do this action, and there you go. So not only have I learned how match 3 works, granted most people already know, but let's pretend you've never played a match 3 before. I learned how to do it in a visual, relevant way, instead of being given a screen of text to read 2 minutes earlier, right? I also mentioned yesterday, we call it the guaranteed win, like give your users something fun and rewarding that makes them feel like they did something right as soon as the game starts, and this does that. So this tutorial, not only does it teach me how to play the game, but it gives me a match. So when I do this, I instantly get my first match. I get the bright color of the shattering jewels, and it's all great, right? So you can combine a bunch of good things into one moment. They learn something, they physically do something, and they even score their first win. And to me, that's like the best way to get a game off the ground.
I concur.
Okay. Let's see. I'll wrap this up because I think you're getting the gist of it. This lesson, by the way, if you have not made one of these Spotlight tutorials, will break it down. So it's a really good onboarding kind of primer tutorial for making tutorials. It's a tutorial, I guess. And then 2 more quick points. So I mentioned Knox gets a little bit of a shout out. This is another great example of how to make a really fun in-game tutorial. This is for his Flappy Bird plus Tetris game. So tap to start, get into the game, and check this out. As I'm playing the game, look at how not only is the gameplay tutorial built in, but there's even like camera zooms and other effects that make the tutorial just look cool and look kind of exciting. So I'll demonstrate it one more time. This is like, I don't even know I just went through a tutorial. It's so painless and it's so fun and visual that I just think it's part of the game. Tap to fly. Then it says fly back and forth. And this is like, it's so quick. And before you know it, I know how to play the game. And no point do I feel like I had to just sit down and read something. It was all happening midstream. So I love that. I think that's an awesome example of how to do onboarding. Okie dokie. So a couple more quick thoughts. You may want to think about how to handle a repeat player, because this term FTUE means first time user experience. So what if it's not a first time user? And there are a couple thoughts about that. You can do things like you can add skip buttons, or you can have Astro actually save information about each player, and then you can use that information to know if they've been here before, and if they have, just don't show the tutorials. Bunch of ways to think about that. Lesson covers that as well. And then a couple other very short topics, but they're important. Once you're past the tutorial issue, you've got stuff like, how do you get the game started? And a lot of games, I talk about this in office hours a lot as well. A lot of games ask a lot of the users. You're like going through menus and filling out option forms and stuff before you've even played the game, which is not a great idea. If you're a brand new user, you don't necessarily know what it means to say enter your name or pick a gameplay mode. If this is your first time, these options are meaningless, and it just adds friction. So we've seen more and more people doing it. I think it's amazing. Make your game start immediately in the middle of something fun, and then find the way to introduce the option as the player needs it. Treat it kind of like a tutorial, but don't just dump it on me as my first experience. Same thing with intro story content. This can be great, backstory can be fun, but generally speaking, you want to offer a chance to skip it. It's usually pretty courteous to do it that way. And then I love the idea of people including things like a logo or like, here's my production company or whatever. Just be careful that it can be heavy, especially if you're doing like an animated movie. How cool your personal logo is. That's the kind of stuff that will slow everything down. It's going to be more download time, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and then the last thing in the lesson is basically once you've got your game out there, can you tell if there's something wrong with your first time experience? And you can usually tell by looking at your Creator Hub, which has this breakdown of how long play sessions are. And it's generally a good sign to see as few of these as possible. So I don't remember where this game came from. This is a game that's got a median time of 108, which means it's doing okay. It's not great, but it's not terrible. And you can kind of see that in the first few seconds. So very few people, relatively speaking, are leaving during 0 to 10 seconds. That's a good sign. That means the game is probably loading fast enough, nothing's crashing, all that kind of thing. But there's a lot of people that are only sticking around for the first 30 seconds, and it'd be great to get this bar lower. So what this bar says is, think about everything going on in the first 30 seconds and ask yourself, is there anything here that I either don't need or don't want or can make simpler or make faster? And if you start making those kind of changes, you might see this number go down a little bit. So that's basically it. We've got a bit of a primer on how to think about the first experience of your game. But if you can get this down, if you can start thinking like a game designer when it comes to the first experience, you'll start to just kind of do it every time. It becomes kind of a reflex after a while. So I strongly advise thinking about it.
Erica's wanting to know what drives a high 0 to 10 seconds. And my opinion is going to be either loading times or a bug that prevents people from actually playing your game.
Exactly. It's all of the above. It can, and one of the frustrating things is, of course, we can never know for sure. So sadly, there isn't like an obvious answer, but the best guesses are usually kind of what Toxic said. Think about like downloads ideally should be done within the first 10 seconds max, and that's on a slow internet connection. So if people are leaving before that first 10 seconds, there's a good chance that it means they're seeing a spinner or a loading bar that is taking too long. And they're like, screw this, I can play 1,000 other games, why am I gonna wait for this one? So that's one example. Toxic mentioned bugs, anything that crashes. I know this is tough, but if you can get a hold of any other phone, that's like if you have an iPhone, find an Android and vice versa. Test it on a couple different desktops if you can. You can just work out, are there obvious compatibility issues? Like, does my game just crash on Android phones, but it works fine on my iPhone or vice versa? If you don't know about that, that'll kill your playtime. In fact, one of my games, my Ragdoll Slingshots game, when I first published it, I was really optimistic it was going to do well, and it didn't. People were just bailing in the first 30 seconds left and right, and I couldn't figure it out because I kept testing it, I kept playing it, it seemed really fun, playtesters loved it. But then it turned out I have an iPhone, and on Androids, you couldn't play. It was unplayable. It was literally impossible to pull the slingshot back because there was some dumb little browser permissions thing that I didn't realize I'd accidentally triggered. And on Android phones, it was a broken game. So half of my users, more than half, found it unplayable. And of course, that showed up in skyrocketing 10 to 30 second times because that's about how long it takes to figure out that this game is not responding to me, right? So those are all the kind of things to ask yourself. Honestly, 0 to 10 seconds is the best one to get a high spike on because it's usually the easiest to fix. It usually means one really dumb thing is just wrong, and if you fix it, everything else will be fine. Whereas the further you go into like 10 to 30 seconds, 30 to 60, it becomes a lot more about judgment calls and it becomes more complicated. Ooh, Jaeger makes a great point. He says that thumbnails can also be a factor if the thumbnail promises an experience that your game can't deliver fast. Users may leave quickly. This cannot be thumbs up enough. So I'll put the fourth thumbs up on there. That is such a good point. It is almost a kind of an ironic problem that we generate pretty good thumbnails, because that means that your thumbnail is basically guaranteed to look reasonable. But that puts the pressure on your game. Your game is going to have to then deliver whatever that thumbnail is promising. I don't know if that's true, Erica, but I do know that GIF thumbnails are not always the friendliest on like download times, and it may be true that when you're swiping through the feed and the thumbnail pops up with your game, if that thumbnail takes extra time to download, that's probably not a good thing for your game experience. So actually, I take it back. That actually might be true, Erica. Good point. It's one of the reasons why, yeah, the GIF thumbnail thing, it's fun. I mean, it's kind of cool to see it when it pops up out of nowhere, but just remember, it may come at a cost if it takes longer to download. Okie dokie. If there's any more questions, let's talk through them. If not, I think it'll be time to jump into some playtesting.
I have one question.
Let's hear it. What's up, Nazmul?
Okay, so is there any copyright issue if you use company logo or company name?
And when you say company, you mean Astrocade, or do you mean like other companies?
No. Like many people uses their company name or logos inside the game.
Oh
like
yeah.
when they load. So if the company doesn't exist or they're using
Oh,
some other company name like EA or some big company name.
Well, okay.
Like
Definitely do not use an existing company's name. Don't say EA.
Yeah.
But if you've got your own, like I had this very, very professional example of like you can imagine this being like a really, really highly respected corporate entity. If you've got that for yourself, I think it's cool. Like we like seeing people kind of brand their own games because it shows us that you're taking pride in it, right? I think that sends a message to the user like, I'm proud of this. I want to put my name on it. So I think that's great. My big advice is just don't make it take too long to download, but there's not like a legal or copyright concern there. Good question, though.
Yep. And then again, like if you use something cool, like other than like existing company name, and someone already registers that company, will there be any copyright issue then? Like
It's
if you
very
don't have your own company.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we're very much an international product. So even if there were legal issues, it's still every country kind of has its own jurisdiction, and that is a whole other rat's nest that, again, none of us are really qualified to talk about. But it does make things. I'm laughing at Pika's suggested branding strategy. But short answer is I don't think there's anything for anybody to worry about. If you make a game that's got 10 million plays a day or something, and there's just all sorts of eyes on it, then I don't know. At some point, maybe people start asking questions about who's what or whatever. But that's very unlikely. And even then, I wouldn't really worry about it. The only thing that, like I said, eventually will probably become a problem is. Yes, high quality was hypothetical. I don't think anyone's there yet. But will eventually, for sure, will be a problem if people are using IP, like games and anime and movies and stuff. Because you just can't legally do that forever. When you're a relatively small platform, it's not that it's legal, it's just nobody cares. But when you get big enough, people start to care. And it'll be a bummer if you put a bunch of work into a game and it has to get taken down because you're using a character you don't have the rights to use. Okie dokie.
Makes sense.
You guys are all welcome to keep asking questions on any topic, obviously, but especially if it's related to the lesson. So we'll jump into playtesting, but if anyone else wants to clarify anything or whatever, just let us know in the chat. Okie dokie. So, Pika, are we, sorry, let me unshare for just a second. I'll be right back. Pika, are we using that doc? Is that the plan for today? Let me just see if I can find the link to it. This is all the work that Pika does to organize things, and then I'm still asking about it live during office hours. But yes, okay, cool. I got the link. I've got the link. Yes, I see someone asking, is there a link to the slide deck? Thank you, Simpy. That is correct. We're so close, by the way. It could be as soon as next week. Everything on Astro Academy will be built into the website. And exactly. Have you seen MIT's seal? And have you seen our seal? Like, come on, guys. It's not even a contest. Plus, I don't think MIT has hologram diplomas. So, I mean, is it even really like a school at that point? Okay. So it looks like our own Jaeger is the first game on the docket today. This is exciting. Okay, now we are talking about first impressions, right? And that is why always we do play testing by going back to the very first step. Before I've even begun loading the game, I'm already sharing my screen. I generally recommend actually using incognito mode, which I keep forgetting to set. Incognito mode is a good way to ensure that there is nothing that is being cached or preloaded, so you'll get a totally fresh, from scratch download experience of the game and see if there's any, hiccups or any kind of friction. So let's jump into Jaeger's Tiny Planet Chopper. Get to the chopper. Everyone's got to make a get to the chopper joke. But it's not a chopper in that sense. It is, I'm chopping down trees. I have seen this game. I don't think I played it. I think I oversaw someone else playing it yesterday. But I love this concept. I love any concept that involves like miniature planet physics. I just think that's super cool. You'll notice, by the way, I am just doing what comes natural. I don't even know if I'm doing the right thing.
Is that driving backwards?
Why are you driving backwards?
Do you naturally drive backwards?
Because it's what comes natural. Exactly. I use the buzzsaw as the propulsion system, and I use what appears to be a forklift as a battering ram against trees. All right, let's try it out again. But you know what's great about that is the game still works. The game is very forgiving. You can drive backwards. I would bet you can drive sideways, and it keeps going. You know what? I feel like there's sound here. Let's try this.
There is, but it hasn't been edited yet, Alex, so I would recommend.
It's too loud, but I love it. It's like chiptune, like 8-bit sounds. That's super cool. I see there's a chest here, but before I get to that, I just want to restart this because this could not be a better first game to play. So other than the thumbnail, which is built in, there's no way to skip that. Look what happens when I press play. Like nothing happens. I am instantly in the game. Like nothing gets in my way. This is like a perfect first experience. And because this game is so intuitive, then even an idiot driving backwards can play it. Like there's nothing to learn. I just start doing what is kind of instinctual. So let's get this chest. Turbo. That is awesome. I don't know why there's this, whoa, I'm building stuff here. Okay, check this out. So the gameplay, what I might call the core loop, which is just the fun of just grinding down a bunch of virtual trees, that part just kicked in immediately. I didn't think about it. I didn't read anything. I just started doing it. But it looks like there's a whole other thing. Maybe this is the game's meta loop. I don't know. There's a whole other element to the game where I'm building something. And I figured that out by just driving in here and discovering it. Like, that's a great experience. Oh, it looks like I'm building a rocket ship. Okay, this is amazing. Like, there's no effort, there's no friction, and I'm just immediately having fun and kind of contributing towards a game goal that nobody ever had to spell out. Even this little bar at the top of the screen, no text, not even numbers. Like you're just visually filling something in, which is something anybody on planet Earth can understand in a split second. So I am very impressed by this so far. I mean, it is fun. I'm enjoying this as just a game, but I love that this is such a great example of how to make a game's first impression just super, super clear.
Hi, I have a question or a comment. Do you feel like it would have made sense for the player as soon as he's able to build that thing that he would have had feedback, like a little arrow, a little hammer and nail, showing that he can do something there, just to add up to the fact that there's something to build?
I think the visual effect of the wood actually going there maybe would be enough. But yeah, I think you're right. Maybe like a directional arrow on the edge of the screen, kind of showing him go down here. And then once he reaches that spot, wow. So is this size and scale?
Oh, of course, it could be.
Yeah, it's more implied than anything, but yes, it is.
Yeah, it's implied, but I think it works. But
Yeah,
I want to go back to the question because it's a really so Knox. Just to make sure I'm understanding, are you saying you're wondering if there should be more feedback, like when I first go into this ring and start building stuff, or what
There's-
exactly?
I'm watching you play, and I'm knowing myself, I would have gotten lost at the other end of the planet, just farming the entire planet.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So in other words, are you saying should there maybe be like a little indicator arrow that leads you
Yeah.
back, or?
Just a little
Yeah.
arrow around the truck or wood chipper, whatever it's called.
So I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I think if that were in this game, I think that would be fine. I don't think it would be like a good or bad thing, but I also don't know how necessary it is. And the reason I say that is because, as you guys all know, I am about as oblivious and absent-minded a player as I was literally driving backwards for the first half of this game. And I still found it. I feel like if I discover something in a game, that means anybody will understand it because I am paying so little attention. I'm trying to talk, trying to say something dumb and clever. I'm trying to like keep Toxic on track because the guy is just going to get us into an IP debate for the billionth time. Like I'm juggling a lot of important things, right? And even with all that, the world on my shoulders, I still figured out how to build this Lego rocket ship. On the other hand, though, what you're describing, Knox, I still think fits beautifully into this kind of style of like not a lot of text, not intrusive, just intuitive visuals. So if there was like a little bouncing arrow or something that just kept me thinking, hey, on the other side of the planet, there's a goal to go to, I think that would also be fine. Like I don't think it would be a problem. And maybe it would be even safer because then for sure nobody's going to miss it. What I wouldn't want to do though, and I'm so glad that Jaeger didn't do this, is I wouldn't want to take this incredibly fun, incredibly simple experience and weigh it down with like a bunch of reading or a bunch of unnecessary broken down steps. This game just lets me have fun and experiment like it's a toy that I'm playing with. And I think that's awesome. So very cool. Let's do one more. See what the next planet looks like. This is awesome, Jaeger. This is a great game.
Your level transition is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
To Knox's point, I actually put a lot of thought into that as far as directing the player. There's also some thought that went into, you know, capping the cargo limits and stuff like that and forcing them to go unload at a certain point. Right now you can literally just stack the blocks up till it like hits the camera almost. And I made the decision to not do that just because I wanted it to feel a little bit more intuitive, just like a toy. So if the player wants to drive around the planet and harvest everything, that's fine. Or if they want to just immediately go to the rocket and start building, that's fine too. And I tried to make the sizing of the rocket and the circle just big enough to where you'll run into it eventually. Like unless you're literally doing circles on the opposite side of the planet, you will run into it eventually. But that's a very interesting point because could it use a little more direction? You're probably right. It probably could. But I also tried to walk that line in between the balance and the intuition at the same time, if that makes sense.
You know what I would do if I were to add anything? So I think on the one hand, Knox is a totally valid point. I think it could make the game just like foolproof. There's no way to get it wrong. And I think that maybe the best balance would be when your little, your kind of wood collector in the back of the truck is maxed out. Maybe that's when the arrow appears or something. Because what I don't want to disrupt, Jaeger said it better than I did. The game does invite just fun play. And so my only hesitation with like an arrow might be, does it pressure people to think they have to keep advancing when maybe they just want to drive in circles and chop trees down because they think that's fun, right? So as long as you're not preventing someone from just enjoying the game in their own way, then I think it's a great idea. That's my only thing. And also, I think oh, sorry, real quick, before I forget, Jaeger, you made a good point that's perfect here, which is the thumbnail should be a representation of the game. And this is like a perfect thumbnail. It looks like the game looks, and it captures the game's central gameplay almost perfectly in one shot. So this is an example of the kind of thumbnail you want. No user could claim to be misled by this. If they like this thumbnail, they're almost certainly going to like what they get when they click it.
Plankton said too that instead of doing arrows, you could just make the first planet a little bit smaller so that circle is always visible while they're moving around, and then you would never have to deal with that at all.
Yes, I think that's a great idea, and it kind of ties into the whole guaranteed win thing. It's not quite the same because it's not guaranteed, but it could mean that you reach, the power up and you reach the complete rocket ship, I don't know, 2-3 times as fast on the first planet. And so you just get a sense of the game loop immediately, and then the other planets can get bigger and invite more of taking your time. I think that's a great idea too. Good input, everybody.
I also think that the snow on that last level that you were on, the way he was tunneling underneath the snow with his, and then it created the little pathways, and you can see kind of where you were driving at. I think that's a really nice visual polish, visual juice.
Exactly. Actually,
I appreciated that.
Ties in great to yesterday's lesson, which was about progression. And one of the ways that your game needs to progress, there's difficulty, there's complexity, there's upgrades, but one of them is just kind of variety. And so even though this is a great game mechanic, if I did 3 or 4 planets just like this in a row, I'd probably get bored. But Jaeger's got me on a different planet every time. It's a forest planet, it's a mushroom planet, it's like a snow planet. So that's a great example of just keeping me interested because things are changing. And there's one last point I want to make about this game. This may become a new lesson in Astro Academy. It's kind of a hard thing to articulate. This is a great example of what I mean about a game that first succeeds as a toy before it becomes a game. So Jaeger kind of already said this, but like even if you don't care about the goal or you haven't noticed it, like Knox's point about not knowing this ring is here, you're still having fun because this is just fun. It's easy and it's satisfying and it's just fun to drive around this planet. So I always think that your best first step when you're making a game is make something that's fun to play even without all the details, without any progression, without any meta loop. Just your core action is fun. If you can get there, it'll make everything else 10 times better. But if it's not fun on its own, it's an uphill battle to make the rest of the game fun. So great example of a game that's just kind of fun just because it's fun, and then everything else is a bonus detail, basically. Yeah, Toxic Rick's a good point, which is it's so green. Maybe this is like the Life Star, you know? Like I think technically that's not a copyright issue. By the way, I love how tall the palette of blocks can get. It's amazing. All right, awesome job. Sorry that we took so long, but that game was like a great case study of what I think everybody should do with their games. So let's see what is next. Toxic. We got a high quality game. I'm sure you've played it, but does anyone, Toxic, Nox, Jaeger, does anyone else want to play the next game?
I don't have anything ready, Toxic. So if you want to jump in, go for it.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's see. All right, where's the game at? Is it in the pinned or where is it at?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me here. You know what? I'll just throw it into the chat so everyone else can see it as well.
Oh,
Voxel book.
okay. I don't think I should play this one because I've played this so many times and I played this late last night too. So
Okay, I'm
I'm
gonna
on.
jump in. I'll jump.
Oh, even better. Go for it, Nox.
All right. So what's it called? Whoa! There's too many games.
Guys, sorry. Yeah, this is this is not supposed to be the channel for sharing games. I was breaking the rule just to shoot it over to Toxic, but we've got to submit your game channel for just this purpose.
Share screen. Voxel book heist. Voxel book heist. Okay. Voxel book heist. Sneak through the library, steal the rare. I was going to say candy for some reason, and escape undetected. Okay.
Ooh, this looks
So
good.
I start with no ways of knowing the controls. So I'm on desktop, right? So, no, the up and down is inverted. I'm horrible at that. Okay. So I need to find the rare book that is upstairs. It's not glowing. It's not telling me. It's just telling me go upstairs. So if I lived in a house with more than one floor, or if climbed a set of stairs in my life, I should technically know what upstairs mean.
Hey, what's the timeline for having stairs in Canada? When are you guys going to have that breakthrough?
We're still working on it because of the snow and the moose.
That's a fair point.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So already I'm fighting with the camera. I love the angles. I think that it's great. Quick suggestion. Some games do that when you're, especially Zelda does that. What they do is they go like a top-down camera perspective instead. So it's easier to see, except it's going to be difficult if these books are tracking you. Unless these books are magical, I'm not sure. I still don't know.
or you can also add some kind of a transparency to the wall and have the camera actually zoom out further than the wall.
Yes.
You can
yes.
do that, yeah. God, this
Are we
looks so.
Batman?
Are we
I don't
Batman? He looks more
Yeah,
like Robin.
You're. I love this like book thief costume you're wearing.
He looks like me after eating too much at a buffet. So, all right. I don't know if you heard the sound, but something. Oh shit!
Oh, whoop whoop!
Library cop.
All right. Let's try again. Oh no, it's broken. Okay, never mind. I have to jump back in. Okay, so just a suggestion, because you're putting a shortcut or like a dark spot here, right away I'm drawn into going this way and avoiding everybody. If that's something that you want to do, go for it. If you want to randomize a little bit more the dark spots to entice the player to have different routes, go for it as well. That's also possible. If you want to highlight the book upstairs a bit more so I can see it, like you have a spotlight on top of it and it could be like a purple magical light or something like that, that would help me as well orient myself. I'm bummed out that I got caught. I don't know why. Did somebody come upstairs?
I think you have two patrols up top. They have kind of like angled flashlights, and I believe if you step inside of that like angle, that cone right there, you'll get caught.
Okay, so if I'm here, he doesn't see me. Got it. Oh, wait, who's that?
That is you.
That is me. Uh-oh.
I haven't seen that bug. That must be new, high quality.
If you want to add a little bit more tension, just allow
Oh,
me
watch it.
not to grab the book right away. Like add a little 3-second, 4-second delay and a little progress bar, and it's gonna be even more. It's gonna add more tension. Again, I don't know where the exit is.
Go down the stairs.
There it
There
is.
you go. You got it.
Okay.
And see how he did add a little glow to that door, and I think that adding a glow to that book, like Knox said, would be a good idea too. So the player has a clear indication of where they need to actually go.
I don't know if the detection was instant, but there's like a slight, like I can escape a slight rubber band. That'd be nice. All right, so all I have to do is avoid them. Got it. I like that the patrols are simple though. That's awesome.
I love the sense of space in this game. Like this library actually feels like a full-size library, you know? Like it doesn't just feel like some little video game environment. It feels really real. Just watching it at least.
Just a suggestion. When I took the book, you told me to press spacebar, and when I leave, I have to press enter. Is there a reason why it just can't be the same button?
From my play experience, you can hit either enter or spacebar. But I think he just has them switched. My suggestion on here when I played was if the police officers or security guards catch you, you have a moment to where you can actually run and hide and lose sight of them instead of it being an instant catch. So maybe the police officers or the security guards should have to actually physically touch you with their bodies to actually arrest you. But while they're in the cone, they can actually detect you and then pursue you with the chance of you actually being able to hide and get away.
So it's literally Grand Theft Auto set in a library.
Yeah.
I love that. What a cool idea. Yes. Grand Theft Library. I don't have a better one than that.
I love your music. I love the atmosphere of the game. So
I was thinking, I like the atmosphere too, but do you think maybe like the music is fine, especially because it kind of sounds like real music, but wouldn't it be more fun if there was like, I don't know, like jaunty heist music or something, like a caper kind of soundtrack, where this is very down tempo?
In my opinion, it should be like this until you steal the book, and then the music should change into something more tense.
Excellent.
Right.
Great.
Do you think they should change patrol? Like they should converge to you? But no, you shouldn't be penalized because you're a thief, right? You're unnoticed.
Well, no, it's a heist. So they converge on you if they catch you, but if they don't, the whole point is you sneak out unnoticed.
Gotcha. Maybe eventually if there's more, like if you want to have more levels, think about like, oh, the staircases are not accessible because I have to flip that switch first and it's at the other end of the hall. And then I have to, take the staircases, and you can add more steps if you want to.
Oh, and dude, you know what you should add? Oh my God, this would be so great. What a cool gameplay mechanic is those movable stairwell things, and for like reaching the top shelf in a library. Like you have to find that, then you have to push it into place, then you have to climb up to grab the book. That would be an awesome heist. Like
high quality. Did you hear that? Did you hear that suggestion from Alex there? I wonder if somebody else might have told you that the other day.
See, what's the point? Why even bother? Whatever I suggest, Toxic will have already beaten me to it. He's I'm never surprised. He's always got the right instincts, I think.
Wait, what is happening?
So let me ask you this, Knox, because we should probably move on to the next one. But I love this game. I totally appreciate spending so much time exploring it. By the way, are those floating Hogwarts candles?
Oh, they are chasing you.
He also has floating books in there from Hogwarts too. Flying books.
Can I lose them?
So this must be new, because I feel like before you were instantly caught. So maybe high quality took some of the feedback I gave him here on this and maybe allows you to hide, or maybe they just indefinitely chase you.
Are they magicians? They can levitate?
I love that it is. It's like the Wizarding World, the Wizarding Cops, or whatever they're called. I'm rusty on one of these days.
That's awesome.
I really enjoy the idea of a low-speed library pursuit. Like it's a very polite chase.
I like the calmness of the music, but but Toxic is right. As soon as you steal, there could be a change of for alertness purpose or like for continuity purpose.
Okay, so
That's
how
awesome.
about this? This is great analysis, Knox. Thank you for all the detailed thoughts. I think I agree with pretty much everything you said. Could you sum up your thoughts on the game's first impression? Like, let's tie it back to today's lesson. Like, how do you feel about the first 10, 20 seconds, and what might you change to make it more effective, if anything?
Player orientation. Just let me know where my objective is, because in 3D space it's a little bit difficult to orient yourself. But it's just a room, so it's just little. You're at that point, it's just polish. It didn't tell me the controls, but most games are WASD, and so that's fine. It's a bit to have, I guess. Other than that, I wouldn't touch anything. I would start thinking about what's this sawtooth thing that we saw yesterday, potentially, if you want to make more levels.
Exactly. And for anyone that missed that, Sawtooth is a very simple way of saying that instead of just gradually increasing difficulty indefinitely, gradually increase the difficulty to a point, then bring it back down a little bit, and then go back to increasing it, and alternate between a few steps forward on difficulty and then like one step back to make the game a little bit easier again. And it's like a cooldown that kicks in periodically. It's a good way to balance the progression of difficulty. Check out Lesson 5. It's all spelled out there if you haven't had a chance. Okay, let me do one more, and then maybe Toxic or whomever else is welcome to do one. We have high quality on stage. Is high quality going to say anything?
He's not going to speak.
All right, he's just taking up space.
Somebody kick him off the stage.
All right, man, I love this title screen. This is so beautiful. This is just a great visual look. Super cool.
Is this an Academy game, or is this just an office hour game?
It looks like it's an Academy game. Pika had it in the Academy list. This is so cool. So, we use the word voxel kind of loosely here in Astro, which I think is fine, by the way. I mean, you can kind of define it a lot of different ways. But these are like legit voxels. This is like actually like a 3D pixel kind of thing. I love this. This is super cool. So I'm a fan of a merge game. The problem, though, is they've been around for a long time, and there's so many of them that if you want to do a merge game of this kind, you're going to have to bring something new to the table. And this one definitely does, because, like I said, people throw the word voxel around a lot, but this is a rare example of like, wait, what's going on here? Oh, I'm sorry. A rare example of like using a real voxel technique. It just looks super cool. And I love the physics too. So this game is, it's very simple. I just move back and forth, and then I just drop wherever I feel like dropping. But the way things move and the physics and all that is very, very convincing. And combined with like the really beautiful background, it's like kind of pastel, but it's like a sunset of like voxel clouds. And the foreground, this whole thing just looks super, super, super legit. I'm very impressed by how real this all feels. It doesn't feel like you've done anything cheap or lazy. It's all like very, very thoughtful and very premium feeling. Let me do one more quick rundown here, because I think this game also had a pretty good first impression. So voxel fruit merger. Okay, I got a title screen. I had a quick loading screen that didn't take too long, was very clearly marked. The look is great, and then all I do is press play and I'm in. It says drop the fruit on a matching one to merge them into bigger ones, which is great. I think you'll figure it out either way, but it's nothing wrong with just printing out at the bottom, and then that's it, and then you're in. Like, that's a great experience. So it looks good, it's fast, and I'm having fun within a matter of seconds, which is about all you can ask for. This actually might be kind of a short one, because I'm not sure there's much more to say. I just think this is really, really well done. So the takeaways, if you guys are making similar games or even not similar games, is try to capture this level of speed, like how quickly you get to the point. The visual consistency is great, and then just little polish items like nice physics and just a good background and that kind of thing. If you do that kind of stuff right, that's all it takes. All right.
So I do have a question.
Oh yeah, what's up?
So this game's not performing well at all. And
Okay.
I'm just wondering.
In other words, everything I just said is complete BS. Sorry, guys. But how's it performing? What are the details?
So the median is under 50 seconds, 49.
Wow.
P75 is minute and 24.
I would not
And
have
I'm
guessed.
I think that you have some kind of issue going on.
And I think I might know what it is, by the way. But go ahead, Toxic.
No. That's pretty much my gist of it. You got some kind of a performance issue, maybe due to the voxels, or you got some kind of a loading issue, or something that's going on in the beginning, because this game is way too fun to be having a sub 50 second play time, and that's a really low P75. Something's going
I-
on here.
I tested
So-
with the browser stack for more than 20 different phones.
That's not very
I-
reliable because it still kind of uses your own GPU and your own CPU to power that. And I find that the performance that I get versus an actual real phone is night and day compared to the emulation, if you will, of different phones in our web browsers.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if you're talking about simulating download time, that's reasonably accurate because it's pretty easy to just artificially slow a download according to some preset. But to Toxic's point, if you're using it to simulate a slower CPU or a weaker GPU or both, it's not that it can't do that either, but in my experience, I also agree it's just not as reliable, and it's very easy to be misled, even if you think you're running all these realistic simulations. So my best guess, first of all, I stand by everything I said. If this game downloads fast and it runs fast, I think this game couldn't be much better than it is. It looks great, it's original, it's really fun, it's really simple. So you're doing all of that right. Where you might have an issue, you just look at this, and on an older phone, it's not that the amount of polygons here is undoable. Like it's a decent amount, but it's nothing that crazy. But what could be really bad, and this is why I know I've been promising it, guys, and I'm taking too long, but I really want to give you guys more tutorials on how to do 3D the technically correct way. Because even though this looks great and it seems to be running fine on my, modern MacBook, there are a lot of reasons why all these little cubes and all these shadows can add up to be just a mess on like a low-end phone from 5, 6, 7 years ago, which could be a lot of our players. So that is a possibility. My best guess would be that there is something about this that we could optimize. And in fact, maybe what we can do, because I do think this game is great and people should learn from it, maybe we can try to do like a little bit of a clinic today. Like if someone wants to ping me, I can do some performance analysis and I can share some possible ideas. We can find out today. It actually would be useful to know more about this. I think we would all learn something from that. So I think it's a great game. I do think there's a chance there are some technical issues that are preventing it from running well. Like I mentioned my Slingshot game, that was a much more dramatic example, but that game was unplayable, literally on Androids. And it wasn't a game design issue. It was just a technical glitch. So there may be something similar here. Anyway, sorry, that was long-winded, but it's an important point.
How are you on voxels for performance? In my opinion, voxels can be very, very taxing because of the way that they're created or made up of teeny tiny little pieces. You think that might have some kind of an issue as well?
Well, no, that is the issue that I think.
That is the issue, okay.
Here's the way you get around it, and we can get to the details, but 3JS, which is usually what these games are built on, 3JS is a JavaScript 3D layer for using, GPUs through the web. 3JS and most modern GPUs in particular, they're designed around a lot of different performance tricks that professional 3D game developers, they all know how to do these things. That's built into their games. It's not a problem, right? But I'm just noticing that Knox has a conspiracy theory about me talking on his phone. I'm laughing exaggeratedly because he's getting too close to the truth. What happens with voxels in particular is that even though this looks really simple, like, hey, it's just a bunch of 3D pixels, what's the big deal? If you do this wrong, and I don't know yet if this is done right or wrong, all of these little boxes are what's called a separate draw call. A draw call basically means the CPU is telling the GPU to do something on the screen. And you have to do a bunch of draw calls, not just every second, but every frame. So if you want to go for 60 frames a second, that means you have to do every draw call and everything else your game does in 1/60th of a second in order for it to be that fast. Now you can just look at this and say, what if every one of these tiny cubes is a separate draw call? Then there could be hundreds, if not thousands, of these extra draw calls every frame. And on the wrong kind of machine, that could just tank your frame rate. So one of the ways to get around that is you can say, well, fortunately, these cubes are identical. The GPU does not need to think differently about every individual cube. And one of the ways you can solve that is you can basically give the GPU one copy of a pink cube and one copy of a green cube. And that could be then 10 draw calls instead of 10,000. And then it knows how to duplicate them where you need them. So I'll give you guys more detail when we get into this next time, maybe next week. But those are the kind of tricks where once you do that, your frame rate can go from 4 frames a second to 400 because you're doing hundreds of less draw calls, basically. So that could be an example. Sorry, Knox. It'll be more user.
That was a good example. Yeah. I did that optimize the same exact draw call on this one as well.
Uh-oh. Well, I say uh-oh because if you are doing that, then I'm running out of explanations. So there could still be many other reasons why this is performing poorly. But it does sound like you're thinking about the right things. So another way to do it, if you want, is you can ask Astra to say, get really specific. Say, Astra, please evaluate my game's code with respect to GPU use, blah, blah, blah. Just list all the things and see what Astra says. The other thing you can do is you can go to the code tab, you can copy all of your code and you can paste it into ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude code, ideally, if you use any of those tools, and you can ask that the same question. That can be a fast way sometimes to just get some quick answers. Okay.
Got it.
But thank you.
Thank you.
This game is awesome. We love it. Just as a matter of craft and creativity, you've done a phenomenal job, and hopefully we can debug why it's performing badly. Because I agree with Toxic. We never want to make promises to you guys because it's just our opinion. Who knows? But this really does seem like this should not be a bad performing game. I just can't see what part of this wouldn't perform well. So I'd love to learn more about it. All right.
I have a theory, and I think saturation of the same game. There's a lot of clones of this game. For sure,
You're
this one looks better, but I've seen 2D games with cute figurines do extremely well. You're throwing your hat in a ring of 100 or 200 other games that are the same as that, and you're hoping to come out on top. I think it's not how well you're able to copy the game and make it look different. It's more about how you can evolve the mechanic to something that players haven't seen yet, so that when they open and play your game for the first 30 seconds, they don't say, "Oh, it's that game." You know?
You can't argue with what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a totally valid possibility. It could be that your game is great, but people just had enough of these types of games. Maybe. Sorry, what do you think, Toxic?
Oh, no, I was adding to that. I do think that genre exhaustion is an actual thing. So that could definitely play into it a little bit as well. So I do agree with that.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, cool. But I mean, either way, this is all good to talk about because this hopefully everyone listening will realize these are the different things to think about. Make sure the game doesn't have performance issues, make sure it has a good first-time user experience, and maybe think about strategically what genre you want to make, because sometimes it's good to pick a popular genre because you can kind of coast on that popularity, but sometimes it's bad because maybe people have had too much and your game is just going to feel like the billionth version of something they've already played. We never know for sure, but these are just all the best guesses you can make. All right, it looks like the next game is from Daniela. We're going to do one more Astro Academy game, then we'll switch over to some non-Astro Academy student games. How about this one, Toxic? You want to play Daniela's game? I can link it to you, or if you got the document, it's under Samsung.
I have. Oh, it's under Samsung. Okay, gotcha. Actually, I don't have that. Which one is it?
Here, I'll shoot it to you in the faculty DM.
When I'm looking at Pika's thing, I just don't see that. Okay.
I'm on the right page, right? Yeah, day 6. Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. One moment. Highlight Harmony. Everybody can see my screen, yeah?
Indeed.
All right. All right, let's see. Levels leaderboard. All right. So first off, I don't think that the player needs to see the screen at all. I don't know what I'm playing, and I really don't know why I need to select a level yet. And I've also seen how the other levels aren't available to me yet. This is kind of useless information. So I would suggest if you're going to give a level select, that you present it to the player after he completes the first level, and then he can see the screen. But ideally, you want to get the player into the game as soon as possible.
100% agreed. By the way, I will make a quick note. A lot of our best performing games have exactly this screen. There are like player's choice games that start with these blank level select screens. So in case anyone's confused, we always want to be clear. These are best practices. You will always find exceptions where games do what seems like the wrong thing and they're still successful. That doesn't really mean it's a good idea, right? So those games are successful despite that, but I think any game is better when it has less of this kind of stuff. So I still think it's a good idea, even if you can find examples of games that do this and score huge numbers of plays. Sorry, Toxic, please proceed.
No, you're good. Ideally, though, we want to get the player into having fun in the 5 to 15 seconds. So if you put 5 to 15 seconds, and if you put too many of these screens, you're pushing that time out. So I feel like this is all unnecessary, but you do get me into the game very quickly right afterwards. So let's see. Highlight this phrase. Friendly. Oh, okay. So we're like in school highlighting things in our books. Okay, so friendly dragon. Friendly dragon.
I was going to say Toxic wasn't kidding about not reading.
I was not joking. Blue sky. Oh, I didn't get the whole thing. Okay, happy village.
Are we all in agreement here that this is a never before seen game mechanic?
Never seen it.
Never seen this.
Golden treasure. No. Okay, I feel like it's starting a little bit to the right of my thing here, so it makes it a little
even
hard.
just watching you play, I'm noticing the same thing.
Oh, wait, what? 0? Okay, preheat the oven. All right, so yeah, definitely need to fix that. Chocolate chips. Start over on the D, see if that works a little bit better. There we go. Vanilla extract. Golden brown. Is it doing it based off time and accuracy here? So golden brown. So I feel like this is cool. This is unique. I need some more juice in this game for sure. I feel like
It
your
is-
background's really plain. Maybe this could be like a book here, and one page of the book I'm kind of going through, and I'm highlighting it. See,
I don't know what's
small
wrong
step
with me,
for man.
but I'm looking at you highlighting text, and I'm like, ooh, I want to play. Like, I have no idea why it's having this effect on me, but I actually really want to play this.
It is very weirdly satisfying. The
Ooh, good
lunar
question.
module.
Faraz asks if this game is using an LLM. It's a great question. I don't know if the creator is here, but oh no, Danielle is here. Yeah, great question.
Magnificent desolation. I don't even know what that means.
It's an amazing phrase, though. Yeah, and of course I should have known. Pika always works out that we've got the people present, so I should have had more
Oh,
faith.
goodness. Okay,
So it
so
looks like
I don't. Go ahead.
accuracy thing. I was going to say it looks like that's the biggest issue is the accuracy thing.
Yeah, it's the accuracy thing. I'm not really sure what's going on down here. We got what is it, like a 10-star, 20-star, 30-star. I don't really see a currency or anything that I'm moving up or working towards to unlock these. Maybe go a little bit further.
I think it's a 2x, 2.5x, 3x. I don't think it's a star thing. Is that unless we're talking two different things?
Well, it says 3x, 2.5x, 2x, and then on the actual highlighters themselves,
Oh,
it says 10
yeah,
stars,
you're
20
right.
stars.
Yeah, I agree with Knox. For reasons I cannot explain, even just watching someone play this game is very satisfying.
Natural satellites.
I am so impressed by the creativity in this game. Like, it's just, and maybe this idea came from somewhere. Feel free to let us know if it did, which is still fine, by the way. But it's just, what a crazy, ridiculous, original idea. Like, I would have never imagined highlighting could be fun, but even watching it is oddly fun.
So it wanted me to highlight mass, but since I have a slightly offset, it kind of spelled ass. So definitely want to work on the position in which the marker is touching down on the page. But I do think that this is very fun, and this is actually surprisingly addicting. It's so odd. This isn't my style of anything, and I used to hate this going through my classroom and having to do these.
Well, let's. So first of all, Toxic, your idea of dressing up the look and feel, I thought was a great idea. I think the game already has a nice, clean look, so it's not like there's anything terribly wrong with the way this game looks, but it does seem like a missed opportunity. So if this were like a more realistic page in a book or binder paper or something that felt tactile, that would go really well with the action. I also feel like one of the fun things about highlighters is colors, right? And maybe you can unlock colors in those other things, which I agree, I still think seems kind of unclear. But I think that the idea of maybe the player can choose their own highlight color or it changes automatically every level or something, I mean, that just also seems like an easy win because colors are fun, right? And then the other thing I wanted to point out is this is barely a game. Like, you can argue maybe there's a meta loop with unlocking these things or whatever, but when I say it's barely a game, I mean that like in a good way. Like, this asks so little of the user. You're not thinking, you're not doing anything complicated, and there's something fun about stuff like that. So I really appreciate how original and how cool this idea is, even though on paper, no pun intended, it seems like it would never be fun.
This has like a word search feel to it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it feels like that's exactly what I'm getting from it. I feel like that's where the fun isn't just necessarily highlighting. I think that's where some of the reward comes from, but I think it's actually a word search. And so I do think it is a game, and I think it's a very clever game. But I do want I do want this to be a page. And honestly, level transition, what would be cooler, in my opinion, would be that every time the level transition, the page turns, and then you have your new one, and that would be your
Yes.
transition to each level. And I think that would
Oh,
just completely make this game.
100%. And if it made like a page flapping noise, that could be really
Mhm.
fun too.
Yep, I agree. Cool
So
stuff
one
here.
of Toxic, give us your summary. Let's bring it back to the lesson theme today. What is your summary of the game's first user experience? We had a few thoughts on like the level select screen. It's probably not necessary. Um,
Well, I feel like I never see this again, so I don't even know if this is necessary, except for a return player. Maybe the return player wants to start out on level 10 when he returns. So that I can see would be actually a good thing to have a screen here. Maybe not the first
By the
time
way,
the player sees it, but
might be
yep,
kind of fun to call them pages instead of levels. Page 1, page 2, page 3. That could be kind
I
of cute.
agree. Yeah.
But you made a great point. And this came up a little bit during the little lecture section. But for a returning player, this could be fine. This idea of a level select screen, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just makes no sense for the first time user.
And I know that this is a highlighting game. You got a highlighter in your hand. It's very apparent what you need to do. But maybe for the first time on the first level, you kind of show the pen swiping so that the player kind of understands what he's supposed to do. And I think that's the only part of the tutorial that you actually need to do.
Cool. Well, how about this? Knox, if you would like to test one, you're welcome to. If not, I will jump in with Peaches, which is the next game on the list.
Go for it. Go for it.
I will share my screen. This is the first non-Astro Academy students game today. This is Geo Trivia Challenge from Peaches. Question 1 of 5. Oop, I'm getting LLM vibes. Question 1 of 8. How many continents are there? I mean, including uninhabitable, 7, right? Okay. How embarrassing if I got that wrong in front of everybody. How many oceans are there?
Okay. Right. I just played a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it uses an LLM, and I'm noticing that these are the exact same questions from somebody else's game.
Really?
I am. How many oceans and how many continents were the first 2 questions that I was asked in their game?
Whoa, that is very weird. What is it, 5? Okay, cool. Whew, thank God. What is the largest continent by area? Obviously, not North America, just America. Everyone knows the continent of America is the largest landmass on planet America. I think
It's the
that's just
continent. It's the continent of the United States.
exactly. Yeah, is this
It's Asia.
continuing? Thanks. Smallest by area. Ooh, this is one. So this is a totally unrelated topic, but maps and globes are interesting because depending on what they call the map projection, which is how they turn a spherical thing into like a flat map, they're often wildly misleading in terms of size and proportion. So you can actually get this question wrong and still be pretty literate with respect to geography, just because maps are often very distorted. So,
Pretty
like
sure
I
it's
know
Europe,
that.
though. Pretty
I
sure
guess,
it's
yeah.
Europe.
I think you're
Australia's
right.
bigger than Europe. Oh,
That's what I was
all
going to
right.
say before. Toxic.
All right. I'll
This
just be
led
quiet.
me with. Ooh, and this is another tough one. Is it? I'm gonna go Pacific. Yes, Pacific. America wins again. Okay, all right. I'm getting too caught up in this. So here are my thoughts on this game. It's doing a lot of things right in that. Look at this experience. Other than loading a question, it's instant, right? Which I think is great. Although now I do think this LLM based because it's not random. It's not new questions. So I'm actually kind of curious about how that works. I like little details here about like this little banner in the background. It's like this color changing gradient that did not at all need to be there, but I think it's pretty cool. So I guess I don't know if I have real feedback because it seems like it's doing exactly what it's trying to do. It's just a challenge. I guess my biggest feedback though, which is kind of off the topic of today's lesson, because I think this first impression is fine. Although there's maybe actually one first impression thing I might change. I don't really know where this is all going. I know that of course I'm going to get points like any trivia challenge, but what's not clear to me is there a meta loop? So the core loop is just answering questions and scoring points, and that's fine. But as a player, do I want to know, kind of like Knox's point about a couple earlier games, it kind of came up on the library game and one other one. Do I want to have a sense of where this is all going? Like, do I think that if I get to the end of this challenge, do I unlock something or whatever? It might be, and I say might honestly, because there could be different answers are going to be valid, but it might be good to give people a sense of like, what are you doing all this for? Is there something to look forward to beyond just the questions? Because right now, all I know for a fact is I'm going to get questions, and they may go on forever for all I know. So maybe think about that. Beyond that, though, I think my biggest issue with this, even though it is very pretty and I love this color changing thing, is it probably looks a little too basic. And the reason I say that is because the game itself is so simple that I think, kind of like the previous game with the highlighting, one of the ways you can engage the player a little bit more is giving them some kind of visual depth or a theme or something. And it's geography. So, I mean, there's all sorts of opportunities for like background images of places or panoramic views or whatever. So maybe think about that. Maybe think about ways to dress up the visuals, a little bit more visual juice, maybe a sense of like a travel log or like a travel book with like passports and like tickets or something. Make it kind of fun like that. Something to think about. Jaeger is making me feel better about the average person's ability to get geography trivia right. I think I got lucky on the first two.
I am happy I didn't play this game.
That would
I
be
would
hard.
Oh my goodness.
But thank you, Peaches, for sharing. Peaches, I see you in the chat. Do you have any other thoughts or opinions you want to share? Peaches says, I'm not sure what meta loop to go with. That's a great answer. That's a very fair thing to point out. How about this? While we're here, guys, why don't we, and anyone in the chat, why don't we brainstorm some meta loop ideas for Peaches? So if the core loop is answering trivia questions, what would a good meta loop idea be?
Well, the obvious would be a game show, like Toxic alluded to earlier.
Oh, that's interesting. So actually almost adding like characters, like maybe there's a host or other contestants or something like that?
Yeah, turning into some version of one, not sure how deep you'd want to go with it.
That could be fun. I don't know if I'd call that a meta loop so much as I would call that maybe just kind of the game world expanding a little bit, but I can definitely see that adding more depth. Something to maybe think about would be... Oh, go ahead, Knox.
I was going to say deck of cards or deck of questions, like different categories.
So in other words, you like unlock new decks or something?
You get a currency for all the questions that you answer correctly, and then you unlock different categories. And then,
Yep, that could be cool.
Or like Mr. Mind says, unlocking countries based off the questions answered on a map.
Exactly. That's a great idea. And one thing I was thinking is this could be really cool is you could do that movie style transition where maybe there's a globe spinning in the background at all times. And then when you go from one level to the next, you kind of see the plane like take off from one area and do the arc over the globe and land on another area. And then you zoom in on the globe or something. Like that could be really cool. So it could be like you're actually traveling and exploring. And then every stop along the way is another pack of questions or something. Cool. Well, hopefully this is helpful, Peaches. The beauty of what you're doing here, we talk about the Duolingo mascot a lot because we want Astro, our own mascot, to not be something that people have PTSD nightmares about. Hopefully, yeah. Have you logged into Astrocade lately to take a trivia challenge that's going to embarrass you in front of your friends and colleagues? All right. But great concept. Trivia challenges are always good because they are so easy to get into and they don't require a lot of explanation. So now I think just have fun with the meta loop. Just be as creative as you can be and build it on top of your foundation that you've got here. Thank you for sharing, Peaches. Okay, I played this.
You can send it to me. I was going to say, I'm ready for the next game. Just send me the link.
Not the indignity of a failed 4th grade trivia challenge. So now he will pay us back by play testing the next game.
Yeah, as you get older, these things just vanish and make room for other things.
It is ironic that we would all be literally schooled by 8-year-olds on this topic. Pika, do you, or rather Knox, do you have access to Pika's document? Should I send it to you?
Can you just link me the game and the other chats?
You hear that, guys? The other chat, all sorts of secrets, all sorts of behind-the-scenes magic. Okay, this will be fun. This game, you know what? This is Caden, though. Isn't Caden a student? Let me...
Is it what Pika just posted?
Well, it's on the Pika's list. I grabbed the next game from... so I saw this game yesterday. This is great, by the way. I'm glad someone else is going to play it, because I just did a play test. but it's a very good example of coming up with a good game mechanic. But I would have sworn Caden was a student enrolled.
Okay, let's do it. I'm sorry for the lateness. I need like a third monitor to be able to do this.
Oh, Caden isn't here. Well, how about this? I think this game is a great example. And I talked to Caden yesterday, so I gave Caden a lot of feedback. But let's do a quick one on this because it's just a very cool game, and I want to tell you guys what Caden told me because it was a very good good input.
What a lovely cinematic. Mission briefing, level 160, by the day. Target is this guy.
Ooh, this game.
It's a lot of all this could have been replaced with just the icon with a target and that gentleman inside the
Yeah,
game
this
already.
Could have
Oh,
been
there
an
he is.
email.
Well, I have it in the top left. It's a bit small, but I kind of can understand it. If I would just say target and then a bigger picture. So you don't need all that other text. I know it's for added immersion. I know it's because you're a sniper professional killer and you want players to jump in, but it's not necessary.
It's a good point. I had the exact same thought, which is it looks like an actual dossier that you would give like a hitman, which I think is super cool. But I agree that you find a way to do it with a little bit less text because even though it's a fun kind of prop, it's going to probably just overwhelm certain people. Also, Pika P highlights a perfect point. Same thing, which is the vignette, the shadow effect around the edges is great because it looks like you're looking through a scope or something. But you should not put the UI under that shadow because it makes the player or the target headshot very dark.
I think
Good
that
catch.
when a game first starts out, you should just show an image of the player or of the target and say he's trying to blend in, and then kind of have it spin up to the upper left corner, and then the player can always click on that to bring it back to the center of the screen to look at it again or find out more information.
Hayden clearly has the ability to make cool stuff, so he could have just start in game, and then when you press play, you go into like first person view and you start sniping. You don't need all that fluff before. It's going to take memory and it's going to lag people's phone, but it's cool. Okay, so I'm supposed to look for a gray guy amongst an ocean of gray guys. Is that it?
He's blending in.
Oh my god. Okay.
It seems
well,
like
this
he's
guy-
doing a really good job of it.
Somebody got murdered during the previous game, so that's interesting. That means I have 80 seconds before somebody gets murdered? Is that what happens going on?
Something like that.
Okay, well, it could be him.
I would just do any, mini, miny, mo.
I mean,
That's
this
what
guy,
Well, yeah, it's got to be. Oh, bullet time.
this guy got
Whoa!
murdered.
Yes. Oh, right in the cranium. Oh, this is really cool looking, man.
Wow. This game is not.
What the heck?
Okay,
All right.
I still feel like a failure. Two things. I feel like a failure because somebody got murdered, but I know that potentially that was a way for us to, get a distraction. So because we have no idea where to look, all characters look the same to me. I'm sorry. It's a bit difficult for me to notice the difference.
Okay, so other than Knox being blatantly racist, I think this is pretty good feedback.
Wait, what? If everyone looks the same to me, it's not racism. I love everybody equally. Is it this like see he's gray. He's kind of
Tan.
gray. He's gray as well.
I definitely think that you need to
Great.
do.
Yo, that was
have
him. He
some
looked
kinda-
different.
You need some kind of characteristics on the. Oh, there you go. You just lost the
That
map.
would.
I think I have maybe like color problem. My wife always told me I had color issues.
So this scene right there, I think, could be a little bit more cinematic. Maybe not have him fall slow. Once the bullet hits him, maybe just do like a ragdoll effect where he just kind of slams on the ground, kind of all funky. Oh, this is cool looking.
Very
So
cool. So we got some
same-
variety here.
Same map again, more people, same character.
Different map.
Yeah, ish.
The
Nah,
City
it's like, I think
Plaza.
it's
A little
the
bit
same
different.
city plaza at night. It's the same Nakatomi Plaza, just at night. So what I wanted to share is that when I spoke with Caden yesterday about this game, I had a lot of very similar feedback and these really good points. I actually didn't pull this off, this bullet time thing. I think this is so cool. But I do agree with Toxic. Once it hits the player, it'd be cool to see more of like a ragdoll thing rather than just timber falling over like a tree. But what Caden shared that I want everyone to take note of. Oh wow, this is actually a different level. Super cool. What Caden shared was that he put a lot of work into getting the game mechanic working first. He just focused on this. He didn't add sound effects. He didn't add the dossier. It was just getting the game logic working. And once that mechanic was working, then he started adding a little bit of juice. He added the sound effects. He added kind of the bullet time effect. And then he started adding the meta loop. And he did it in a really deliberate way. And so I just want to make sure everyone else takes a note of that. Like, that's easy to do. There's nothing stopping you from just making a to-do list of first I'll do the game mechanics, then I'll do some juice, then I'll do like the meta loop. Because it's so easy if you don't think about that to kind of get caught up in whatever random detail is cool. And before you know it, you're doing things out of order and you're adding random effects too early, or you're adding the meta loop before the core loop is really worked out. We all are susceptible to that. So just reminding everyone, think in a logical series of steps. That's one of the main things Astro Academy is trying to teach all of us. And you will, I guarantee you, you will get at least some improvement in your game quality if you go step by step instead of jumping around.
I just want to highlight that I feel like a failure because I have to wait for somebody to get murdered in order to notice them. Maybe if the characters on the ground looked like the same on the portrait, I'd have a better chance, but I still think that there needs to be a little more thought process behind how the characters look and what's the different, how to spot.
I also think at this level is too dark, and you either need to brighten up the lights that are shining or do some kind of thermal night vision thing on this level.
Ooh, that would be cool. That would be super cool.
Oh yeah, Astro does flashlights really well, where you could have a hole and it's hollowed out, and everything in the back would be like darkened slightly. It does it really well.
Cool. But let's get back to the theme of today's lesson, which is first impressions. Knox, you had some good thoughts. Why don't you summarize those again? How would you summarize this game's first impression?
Okay, so if I remove the technicalities from it, that I don't know if it's going to run on everyone's phone, because that was my first worry. I think that this game, it's the first time I play on AstroKid a sniper game that actually feels like a sniper game.
Yeah.
And I love the fantasy, the player fantasy of just sitting on a rooftop and you know, being the good guy, I guess, quote unquote, because I don't know.
Maybe.
I guess I'm a good guy. Maybe.
Who knows?
But the mechanics are very simple. Analyze, look, and shoot. It's just unclear. Like the I would say like after the 20-30 seconds, I'm a bit confused on what to do until somebody gets murdered. But other than that, it's a pretty good game.
Okay. With what I remember you saying that I agree with is I think the little target dossier could be a little bit simpler. So I think it's great to show this like document with a headshot, but I liked your point that you could probably summarize it with much less text. So keep the gist of it because it's a good concept, but I think you can do this in a simpler way. And I think that's about it. Everything else, I agree. It's a really great game concept, and now we're just watching it come together.
There you go. On that note, I'm done.
On that note, exactly. Okay, I'll do another one, and then maybe Toxic, you can take one after this if you like.
Sounds good.
Next,
I got
up-
AFK for just a moment. They'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. I'm doing another game from a non-student, and then maybe we switch back to Astro Academy. Oh, I think we saw this game yesterday. I remember thinking this game was great. Buy a unit to begin. This is very simple, but pretty satisfying and pretty rewarding. So it's kind of like an auto battle, you know, kind of sort of strategy game. But what I love about this game is that it's very responsive. It's very visually complete. Like everything that I expect is pretty much here. It's got a good amount of like styling. It's kind of doing some cool, consistent stuff with typefaces. The art style is really consistent. It's got this like black outline cartoon look that you can see also pretty consistently done up here. Really simple, but in a good way. Because there is so much going on screen, and yet all I have to do to orchestrate all that is just make a tap. Tap down here, and the army does whatever I want it to do. I was definitely performing a little bit better yesterday. So as far as first impressions go, I'm really impressed that a game that could seem very complicated feels extremely accessible and like almost instantly gratifying. And then because I got in so fast, now I have some patience to explore some of the more advanced stuff because it's being given to me kind of step by step instead of everything hitting me all at once. So I think this is a great example of having a clean, simple, but very fun game that asks very little of the player. I just tap every now and then, but what I get out of it is really rewarding. Yeah, it does have almost kind of a football kind of vibe to it. I'm noticing Knox's comment. Yeah, you know what? I don't even know if there's that many things to talk about with this game. I think that so first of all, I am not like a real-time strategy kind of game guy at all, really. I know this isn't like a really an example of that, but it's kind of in that neighborhood. I'm much more into like simple single-player kind of games, not these big team coordination games. But even I think this is pretty fun, just because it's so easy and simple. And you'll notice I'm already now in a different battlefield, which keeps me interested. Like I'm not just repeating the same thing over and over. Um, yeah, I mean, the only thing I might say about this game is that the fact that I'm doing so well, I think is suspicious. Like it might be too easy because I'm usually the kind of player that just gets destroyed in games like this. So maybe think about that. Although I actually don't think it's a bad thing at the beginning of the game. It's great that when the game starts, I just start winning. It's always good to start off a game that way. But it could be that maybe the difficulty could ramp up a little bit faster. That's maybe something to think about. Um, but then again, I don't know. These two armies seem to be actually pretty well matched, so maybe it is balanced. Either way, the point is this game has a very clear focal point. You can tell what the creator was going for, and I think it does it really well. So we should all be so lucky. I think.
Yeah, I play tested this game as well. It's pretty cool. I think he did do some more polish. It looks like his UI looks a little bit prettier. The little like icons above the cards, like on the right hand side, the coin and the star. That all looks really nice. And I noticed that he's also done this really cool little like effect that shimmers across his cards in between rounds, right there. And he did not have that before, so it looks like he's mostly on the polish stage here. And I found this game to be quite fun. It does the difficulty scale does get quite high once you start getting up into higher levels, but it's all strategy. And once you figure the strategy out, the game is very fun.
Okay, that's great to hear. Cool. Yeah, I figured you'd probably have slightly more detailed thoughts on this because I've only played it a little bit and it's just not really my genre. But I'm very impressed. Oh, you know what?
Ooh, that's new.
This map view is so cool that one piece of advice is maybe don't hide it behind such a plain looking button. I mean, this button is nice looking, there's nothing wrong with it, but I kind of lump it in with settings. Like most of the time on these, by the way, even this looks
Ooh,
great.
that's
This whole,
yeah, he's definitely in the polish phase. This stuff looks
yeah.
so much prettier than it did before.
In fact, yeah, I think I'm noticing a couple improvements. I think I only played it briefly yesterday, but even this looks a little bit better. Um, Whoa,
You
that
have
was cool.
abilities. Huh.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, what I was going to say though is I think this map view is great. I'm actually so actually two thoughts because I think I'm here, right? This is the battlefield I'm on. Um, so either maybe show it more easily, or maybe use this in between levels. I don't think I saw this pop up between levels. And if this is showing my progress across the game, and if it just looks so good, then I would definitely love to see more of this. Like give the player a chance to appreciate this automatically instead of hoping they find it. But this is great. I love this game. I'm really impressed. I think it's really good. It plays well. It's got a great first experience, mostly because it doesn't really ask me to do anything. It's so simple and easy, and it just looks really good. So nice job across the board. Although, you know what? Breach 20? Is this? I think you could do a lot better with the title. The thumbnail's not bad, but this is a kind of a cryptic title to me. Maybe it means something in this genre. But I do actually worry we may have the opposite problem that Jaeger mentioned. I think the game is actually a lot better than the thumbnail in this case. So people might not realize there's something really good here. You might dress this up a little bit more and maybe give me a snappier title, maybe. Okie dokie. Let's see who's next. Toxic, what do you want to grab this one? I think the next
I
game.
got it.
Oh, and here's Nazmul.
Nazmul. All right.
Oh, wait a second. What is wrong with me? Are these all students in Astro Academy? Because they
On
both
that
say
page.
name. I thought the first table was students and the second table was non-students. Maybe I got that wrong.
I think non-students are going to submit your game, and students are going to be in the actual page that Pika has created for us.
So, yeah, see, you know what? Pika always has this stuff figured out, and I'm always discovering it too late. All right.
All right. So let me restart this. 2248. And I do believe that this is going to be a game I am not going to be good at, but I will give it my best shot.
Excellent.
Okay, play. 2 is your highest block. Drag to connect identical numbers. Okay, keep dragging to step it up to higher number. 2, 4, 8. So is it like multiplications? So 4 plus 4 equals 8 equals 16. Okay, I get it. I'm not talking because I'm afraid I'm going to close the game while I'm talking. So if you want to go over the top of me here. Right now it's nice. This tutorial was very, very simple, very, very brief, but I immediately knew what I was doing, which is good because I had no clue what I was supposed to be doing when this game started. And had you not given me that, I would have just gone on to a different game because I have no idea how to play this.
Do you feel like missing juice toxic or like something to hook you and say, hey, one more number. I want to do more.
Right now I feel that it's got some juice to it. I feel like I need to open it up and see if I make bigger connections or something, if it will give me more. So let's see.
Because all those twos look juicy.
They do look juicy. Let me see.
There we go.
That's
Okay,
pretty
so
cool.
yes, I do think that it does need a little bit more juice on those bigger connections. There was some there, but I think I want some more.
Here's my suggestion. I think that the upper UI is being squashed by how big the gameplay space is. So
Great
you might want
point.
to remove 1 or 2 rows and have a bigger top UI. Because right now
That's
it
not-
feels like it doesn't even belong there. Yeah.
Also, actually, no, I take it back. I was going to ask if all those numbers were necessary, but actually, I do think they are, right? Like highest and
level
target.
highest. I think highest could actually be shown to you afterwards. Same thing. Well, not the level. The level can be there. The target score, I don't think needs to be there. So I think
Yeah, maybe
honestly, all we need is level and score. And get rid of these
Yeah,
two.
that actually could be the way to go. That would be very, very nice and clean, especially because here's the problem with this game is the nature of the game is showing a grid of numbers, which means by the time you get to stuff that's in the game HUD, the UI, the user has already seen about 1,000 numbers. So you want to be selective then because it's kind of tricky to get around that if the game itself is not going to have any fewer numbers. That's just the nature of the game. So probably worth being selective about what you include on top of that.
Although I feel like if I go 2, 4, 6, I should be able to connect it to an 8, but maybe that's 8, right? I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of this differently. So main mechanic seems to play pretty decent. The loops, I'm not really sure if there's much of a loop other than just kind of a main mechanic here. What would you say the actual gameplay loop is here in this game?
I mean, the core loop definitely seems to be what you're doing. You're stringing together these chains of numbers, which, by the way, is good. I think just watching you play, it looks like a classic game mechanic. Like you're able to repeat it over time. You're getting slightly different kind of results out of it. Like every little streak that you chain together has like a slightly different effect on the board. So that's all good. But it says level 1. Are there other levels? You've been here for kind of a while.
I have been. I'm at 718, and my highest says 128. So I'm not really sure what that is even correlates.
Yeah.
And I'm well past my target, so I definitely should be on level 2 by now. Maybe it's still a work in progress, and they only have 1 level right now.
Are levels
actually
necessary when you're trying to beat a high score?
I would actually argue that level isn't really not necessary,
There you
but
go.
the highest and the target are probably the 2 primary ones.
Right.
Because I think
Yeah.
if I'm reading this correctly, the target is what the number you need to have on the screen is.
Yeah,
So
that
you
was
need to
my concern
combine
earlier.
128s.
Yeah.
Oh, I beat it. There we go, level 2. So 512 is the goal.
Well, right off the bat, biggest issue then is you've just gone from level 1 to level 2, and I see no visual change. You know, like this, and it's easy in a game like this because it's all color palettes. Like at the very least, every level should have its own color palette. Like you had this cool kind of neon bright colors for level 1. Maybe level 2 is like all greens, like it's in a forest, and level 3 is all reds or You know what I mean? Like that's just an easy one. I would also like to see more than just colors anyway. That was
Ooh.
cool. That was very
Okay,
cool.
that was new. So this one actually popped up into place. Oh, they do each time. Okay.
Is
It's
this
cool.
a
I
leaderboard
just
game?
I don't
Sorry.
see a leaderboard on here though, so that's kind
Oh.
of probably an opportunity that you want to look at. So let's see. The game mechanics seems to be fine. It seems to be enjoyable. The onboarding seemed to be pretty good. I wish there was more of a loop, right? Because I'm kind of just doing the main mechanic, and I don't really feel like a gameplay loop, so to speak.
Exactly.
Like Alex is saying, I do believe that every time you level up, something should increase in difficulty, and something visually should change each time. That's part of the reward system when leveling up. I'm anticipating that, and when you don't give that to me, I am a little bit let down. And I do think it could be just as simple as palette change. That's really all it really actually needs. And then on top of all that, I do think that it's a little bit of juice is missing here. I don't feel quite as rewarded each time I make a completion, especially if I go from 246 or 248, 16, 32, 64, 256. I am expecting a gigantic explosion or something that rewards me for such crazy high effort.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's all good. Can we reload it one more time? Because I kind of blanked. What is the very first experience of the game?
The very first experience of the game is the onboard tutorial that's very clear. So here's your goal. Tap to start. Oh, okay. So this game has to have persistent saving. So it's not going to give me the tutorial, which I actually appreciate.
No, that's good.
Code Kuma's trying to talk. Is this his game?
Is this Code Kuma's game? No, this is
Okay.
Nazmal's game, right?
Okay. I think it is, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Give me more juice. Give me a level change. Give me a little bit more of a game loop and not so much focus on just the main mechanic.
Speaking of which, our boy Nazmal's here on stage. Let's hear from the man himself.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay. So yeah, there is no other levels and no other palettes. So the whole game is in this grid, and you have to get better and better numbers. Like you see the target, so you have to achieve the target, and that's the main thing of the game. And yeah, there are multiple combos. Like if you do a better combo, like if you get 1024 or something like that, you'll get better effects. So
Well, I think
it's
you
based on the
should.
combos.
I think you should give those effects a little bit earlier. I think some of the lower end effects are a little bit meh.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think the next steps in this one are pretty clear. I think you've got a good foundation, so maybe juice it up a little bit, and let's definitely think about ways to make the game visually different over time. Some visual progression, I think, would be good. Cool, but thanks for sharing. All right, how about this? I have a couple. I say how about this a lot, I've realized. I have a couple games I would like to play from the submit your game queue. I see in the chat a lot of people want to get their games in. I think we've given a lot of time to Astro Academy students, which, as Pika is explaining, is for sure the priority for days like today. But why don't we take a few minutes to play some games that are from non-Astro Academy students? Give me just a second. Okay. All right. This game is Arij J. Sorry, buddy. Help me out with pronunciation, and I will do better. Although we played this game yesterday, and it looks like it has already progressed quite a bit. Very cool. Let's see. Wow, this is way better than yesterday. I'm really liking this. So I remember yesterday the feedback was that it felt unresponsive because you couldn't jump until your ball was done bouncing. That has been fixed. there's like a cool rolling effect, and there's a lot of subtle juice. Like look at the way the whole game world shakes whenever you land. I don't think the rings were spinning yesterday. It's much more clear these are plants, not green spikes, because I can see them kind of waving in the breeze along with the flower. This is super cool. Something I did notice yesterday that I still see that I don't get is I don't know why there's all this flickering. I don't love that. But everything else I'm seeing, I'm really impressed by this. This game feels really good. Now that the bouncing has been kind of freed up, I just actually really enjoy rolling around and jumping. So this is great. So let's see. I guess I just bounce around. I grab rings. It's kind of like slow-moving Sonic, slow-moving red Sonic. And I just sort of make my way through the level. I've said before, there are not a lot of platformers on Astrocade, so the fact that we have one now, I think is great. That was an awesome effect, super cool. And look at this, level 2, it's at night, so I've got that visual novelty that I want. Things are changing over time. I'm really liking this. I think the main thing, those actually were real spikes. Oops, those could have been maybe a little bit clearer, but that's also on me for not paying attention. The one thing that I think I'd still like a little bit more of is a sense of status changing when I've got all the rings. I think something else I mentioned last time was that you can't go through the vortex at the end of the level until you've collected all the rings. But I don't think the game is that clear about that fact. I think you have to figure it out through trial and error, and it's not told to you clearly when you have all the rings. At least I don't think it was. So that might be something like, notice, see, I haven't got all the rings yet, so I can't go in the vortex. But look, he added this. Collect all rings to activate the vortex. Good job. Personally, sorry to nitpick, I think that text would be best if it popped up right above the vortex, because that's kind of a big difference, but that's a very minor note. So I got to go back and find one that I missed.
I think it should also be much larger for mobile devices.
Yes. Agreed as well. Boy, I missed it really early on, I guess. But yeah, I mean, man, this game is hugely improved. I think the creator has done a great job of incorporating a bunch of feedback very, very fast. Oh, here it is. Okay, I take it back. Well, okay, I still think some text would be helpful. Just very, like, all rings collected or level unlocked. Whoops, that was dumb. Level unlocked or something would be good. But notice that they also added the rings go flying up into the corner too, which I think was another suggestion. So great job taking a bunch of feedback and just very quickly applying it. And I really think the game is way better because of it. I much more enjoy this game now that I'm playing this version of it. So nicely done. Okay, what should you add next? You know what I wonder might be kind of cool, because it does feel very much like Sonic. Maybe you can have some moving enemies. Like you've got hazards, like you've got spikes and all that. That's great. Maybe throw in some moving characters. That might be the next step. Power-ups are also always fun. Maybe if I collect an invincibility power-up, I can roll over the spikes without being hurt. Whatever, those kind of things. Love that effect. Super cool. Yeah, I mean, it's easy stuff at this point. Power-ups, enemies. Maybe by level 3, the background could be a little bit different. Like this is still different than the previous level, which I appreciate. But I don't know. Maybe this is the snow level, or this is the lava level, or something. Maybe something you can think about. Yes, moving platforms. Great idea from C-Spark. But really cool. Really nicely done. I'm going to try to speed run a little bit. I skipped Johan Gray's game because we've seen it already, but we've also saw that game already. So let me do this one quickly as well. But also, I think Johan Gray is also a student, so stepping out of the order a little bit, but whatever.
Oh, no. Oh, jeez.
Look at this.
He knocked you into a different realm.
What is the term? I was just asking Cap, who is our resident anime expert. What is the term for the genre of anime where it's like, I was hit by a truck and I woke up in another dimension and now I have to like defend the potion princess or something? There's a whole anime genre or manga genre that is like about a player being hit by a truck and then being reincarnated.
Isekai.
There you go. That is what it is. Yes. So I love that you've done that. That's so cool. Let's watch that one more time. So, hey, how do you think this game about mixing potions starts? Does it start with a wizard collecting ingredients? No, it starts with a dude getting hit by a truck.
Turn on the volume, I guess.
Oh, sure, of course. Apologies. Let's start.
Oh.
One more time. Sorry, guys. I know that was loud, but one more time. Put all this work in. Ooh, footsteps. Oh, I love it. love it. I love it. Awesome job. So you're doing a great job with this. I really love it. Sorry to be a broken record. I think it would be great if this were a little bit shorter. I think this is LM text, which is great, but just you don't need to make it so long. And I know LMs can be hard to control. They often just keep giving you more text than you want, no matter what you say. But if you can trim that down a little bit, that'd be great.
And I also fixed the G fighting on the cauldron.
You did.
You mentioned.
Yes, you fixed Toxic's input, which was the Z fighting. The surface of the cauldron had this flicker. Now it looks beautiful.
See how much better that
Yes,
looks?
right.
No more zombie fed.
Casserole cauldron. Let's see. Can I make anything yet? I got to go find ingredients, which is fair. Let's see. This looks like an ingredient. Unlocked unlimited thunderberry. So I guess my first step, and I'm not really reading much because I have a religious exemption against all reading. So I'm just gonna YOLO and just figure it out. But even without reading, I feel like so far I think I'm doing something productive. What I think I'm doing is I think I'm collecting ingredients that I can take back to the cauldron. So let's see if my assumptions are rewarded. But I love the Minecraft look. It's very playable. It's very simple, but it's cool that I'm in a 3D environment. I like that. Okay. One thing I would suggest, I know there's like a interact, E cauldron at the bottom, but once I get close to the cauldron, maybe just pop up like a big graphical button in the game that I can just tap. It might be a more fun way to engage with the cauldron. Okay, brew, that's cool. Like that effect. Love that the potion comes out with all this. Oh, interesting. So there's like a dynamic between giving away the potion or ingesting it. I, of course, have to just ingest it and see what happens. Love that animation. Wow, look at this. Okay, and once again, I've made myself into a fairy. That's cool. Let's see, potion complete. I'll give this one to Astra. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it seems like all these kind of turn us into fairies. That seems to be a common theme. Let's see. So I'm liking all of this, but I think I still have the same feedback from yesterday, which is as much as I love the game world and I love collecting stuff and mixing potions, it really is very fun. I still don't have a clear sense of what I'm doing. So you've got a great, now I'm noticing it says Cauldron, Ocean, Boss. So maybe the boss, I have to go find the boss. But this is where I think the only thing that seems missing to me is a little bit more guidance. Like, what is the meta loop? Because I just think this is such a fun premise. I would just love to get a little bit more of a sense of where I should go next. Like, what am I doing all this for? If you add that and make that more clear, I think you've got a great game on your hands. Thank you for these very not at all disturbing gifts in the chat, guys. It's really adding a lot.
On that.
Cool. Any other thoughts, Johan Gray? We appreciate you taking the stage. What do you think?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Just in general, just you've heard some of our thoughts. Any other thoughts of your own, or things you want to share about creating the game, or whatever?
None. So far, I'm good with your feedback, and I'll be working on those.
Awesome, I appreciate it. Well, it's a great game, so thank you for sharing. Keep it up. Okay, I'm going to speed run one more. I use the word speed run loosely because I know I am not that fast. Here is Lumina from Mistomine. I don't know what that means. Lumina descending into the abyss. This is very cool so far. Navigate the bioluminescent abyss. Sounds exciting. Use WSD arrow keys to... Okay. Probably don't need this. People will probably figure this kind of thing out. Whoa. Wow, this game is beautiful. This is a gorgeous game. Very, very cool. Look at all these effects. Fish are swimming backwards. I'm not sure why, but that's a small detail. This really is like bioluminescent. Like, it really feels like magical. So I guess it's like Flappy Bird, but I'm a jellyfish. Jellybird. It's like very slow, very chilled out, gentle Flappy Bird. Ooh, not so chilled out. I spoke way too soon. I don't know how to deal with this guy. Okay, he didn't seem to hurt me, but I don't know what to do if he shows up again. I don't know if that was just luck that I survived that encounter. There's like this glowing beam moving along in the front of the scene, and I like it. It gives it kind of a parallax effect, which means it looks like there's a sense of depth, which is cool. I don't know if somebody might be confused by that, like if people think they're supposed to somehow avoid it or if it's going to hurt them. You learn pretty quickly that it doesn't appear to hurt you. I interpret it as just ambient kind of detail, but you never know. I'm just also noticing, look at these like tendrils on the jellyfish. Look how cool those look. So I'm really impressed. I think this game just looks excellent. And it's kind of fun. I think all I'm mostly doing is kind of some Flappy Bird action. I didn't get the shark thing, but other than that, I seem to be okay. And I know I'm collecting these pink bubbles, but I'm not sure why. Okay, cool. New level. Tighter gaps, more enemies, it says. Okay. But yeah, I mean, other than a little bit of vague confusion, but it's not confusion stopping me from playing, I like this. I think it's pretty cool. I might nitpick the intro sequence a little bit. So let's do this again. So you have a loading screen, which that's fair. You kind of have to have that. Do we feel like we need this title screen? I don't know, especially because you get a little tutorial thing afterwards. You might want to consider going from the loading screen directly into the game. This could just be a quicker way to get the user to have a moment of fun. Your title screen looks really nice, but since it's just a play button that I have to tap anyway, I don't know if it adds anything. So I might suggest cutting that down and jumping right into the game. I think people would be very happy to just immediately start playing, but it's up to you. Other than that, I think a couple things seem unfinished, so maybe you're going to keep working on that. So I'd like to see where it goes, but that's it. What do you guys think?
That game too. I think it's a good example of how you can take a Flappy Bird-ish type of game and add your own spin on the game. So this person took essentially Flappy Bird and turn it into a more of a combat style driven, horizontal scroller endless game. So I think that what the creator actually did here was very unique and a good example of how you take an original game and make it a little bit your own and add your own uniqueness to it. So I say, good job on here.
Yep, agreed. Nicely done. Let's see. I actually got to run in just a few minutes. Maybe I'll do one more quick one, and then Toxic, you can take some more Astro Academy student games.
I can do so.
Let's see. How about this? I'm gonna do 2 quick speed runs because how about this? I'm gonna try to do 3 in a row, fast but useful. Nazmal has been all over office hours today, but what the hell? Let's just do the hat trick. I think this is our 3rd Nazmal game. Jelly Flow. Oh, I played this game yesterday. I remember liking it. Let's see if it has changed at all. Oh, cool. So it looks like now your character kind of rushes off onto the horizon, which is interesting. Oh, and it's faster. That was one of my little suggestions, was just speed it up a little bit. I definitely like this pace. It's just quick enough that I got to stay on my toes. I feel like if I take my eye off the ball, I will pay the price, which is really good. It remains as fun and as satisfying as it was yesterday, which is good. He added background stuff, which I had suggested based on the game Slice Rush. Got some Z fighting, although it almost looks kind of like an effect. This is crazy. This is a huge improvement. Nazmo, you've done a great job here. Oh, and we're already on a new background style. Nice. That will keep players engaged for sure. I think this is really good. We could keep, nitpicking little things you could improve, but I think the big things you've made way better. I really like this. I think this is a good game that you've made a lot better. What do you think, Toxic?
I think it's our feedback. You got rid of the strange little goopy guy that was in front of the block. And I think that the atmosphere, the environment looks much better. I think this is a big, giant improvement.
Yes, 100%. I'd still get rid of that Z fighting on level 1. I don't see it on level 2. But this is cute. They party together at the end of the level. Great job, Nazmal. Really like it. All right. Is Erica here? We're going to check out her Gauntlet game from yesterday. We had a lot of feedback on kind of clarity and explaining tutorial stuff. Sorry, Nazmal, we're speed running. We just got to rush. But I think your game is great. I have very little to say. Please share your thoughts in the chat, but I'm going to move on to Erica's game.
I don't think Erica's here.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. Snooze, you lose. Sorry, Erica.
Erica, if you're here, speak up. No, she said bye. She was going earlier.
He said bye. Now we'll catch up with her. So let's play Ravinder's game. I know Ravinder was looking to get his game played, so let's do it. Voxel Squid Game. I am the fateful player 456. Ooh, this is cool. Got an intro. And I like there's a skip intro button. Always good to see. Ooh, wow. Okay. Camera starts off very close to the player. I would, I don't think I moved, but whatever. I would definitely move the camera back a little bit. Wait, I might need sound for this because that's one of the indicators that the doll is about to turn around.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So the concept is great. We all love Squid Games. Playable Squid Games are very fun. That's all good. And I like your blocky look. I think that's the blocky 3D look always works in my opinion. But man, I am not finding this very easy to play. So I become player 456. That's great.
Welcome, survivors.
Awesome. Love that. But you know what? It really does seem like there's almost no indication, unless I'm missing something, there's like no warning that the thing's about to end.
It needs to go from green light to yellow light to red light. And that yellow light can be second. I've never watched this show, so I really don't know the rules. I'm not really big on friends, so I lack in that area. But a street light has a yellow light, and the yellow light indicates it's time to stop. But you should have a yellow.
It's so sensitive. The moment you move, you get shot, which I guess kind of makes sense. But yeah, it just seems like the transition between the music playing and people getting shot is like instantaneous, when there should be like a slight delay. And that way, if you're getting greedy, you still risk being killed. But if you're playing more conservative, you should be fine, which is usually kind of the dynamic for red light, green light. So I would work on that next. I think it's a great start, and I love the concept. Everyone loves Squid Games, except for Toxic, who hates it. But maybe just play with the sensitivity of that.
I don't hate Squid Games. I just hate trends.
No, we heard what you said.
All right, I
What about
hate Squid
How would
Games.
how would you feel about 99 Nights in Squid Games?
Nope.
I didn't know if maybe two trends cancel each other out.
They don't. They make it
don't.
worse.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Vile.
You're right. I probably should have guessed that. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for sharing this. We try to do non-Astro Academy students in. I'm going to run in just a minute, but Toxic, if you'd like to take one more Astro Academy game, maybe we can tag team the last one.
Yeah. All right, who we got? Who was the last one we did? Did we hit cams and texts? Do you know where we are in the play?
Oh, let me check.
I see Nazmul, then we got Cam right afterwards, and we have Tech J.
I think yes, I think Cam is the next game. Smash Giant. Yes, I think that should be next.
You got it, dude. Oh, okay.
Ooh, cool. This is like from the original Ang Lee Hulk movie.
Smash. That must be my start button. Achievement. I don't know about the game yet, so I'm not too concerned. A lot of extra information. Leaderboards. Hey, people play your game. That's good. I don't think that this stuff needs to necessarily be on here, and I'm a big fan of putting the shop in your game so the player can access it. Sometimes people do both, so let's see.
Totally agreed.
Oh. All right, so I am a giant watermelon man with some very spiky hair. Okay, let's see. Hold the spin. Oh! Okay, this is cool.
Oh, it's like
Hold it. Yeah, you're like
camera toss or whatever.
Yeah. I love this concept. Oh, and it falls apart. Okay, all right.
Wow,
Oops.
this is such a fun idea.
Okay, I instantly hit that when it came back. So hold to spin.
Thanks, Jaeger.
Aim for the gold zone. Later, good sir. Oh, that should have been a decent one. So I have strong wind, I have tailwind. Tailwind and headwind affects their distance. Right now it is headwind at 9 meters a second. There's a lot of information up here that actually interferes, for me, with the playfield.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think your Hulk guy needs a little bit of work. I would maybe look at, since how this is a 3JS game, yeah, you could go to maybe like Sketchfab and get a low poly version of Hulk, maybe, because he's owning one pose, it looks like, right, with his arms straight out, so you don't really even need any animation. But I do like the way that starts to, like, his arms start to move up and down opposite of each other, and he gives that little wobble effect. That's cool.
Camera movement's good too. I like
Yeah,
the
I
way
agree.
it follows the tank.
And I said that this interferes with the playfield. It doesn't. Actually, I just would like to see this a little bit more refined and a little bit prettier.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe it's not a distraction, but I think it's a distraction only in so much as there is a lot of small text that I don't think the player needs to read moment to moment, and it just looks a little bit messy. So I agree with you.
So I feel like I'm getting it as far as I can get it, or almost as far as I can get it. How do I keep the tank going? Is there a way to, like, once it hits the ground, can it like hit power ups and continue going further, or is it kind of one and done? When I hit the ground, is that kind of it? Because I want to go much further.
You're
but I'm
kind of,
curious.
I mean, it makes me think of your own Ragdoll dismount game, which had a lot of those kind of dynamics where once you're moving, you can hit power-ups to keep moving. It even makes me kind of think of the old classic Cappy's Flight Adventure, which was a two-dimensional game, but it was the same thing. Once you're flying through the air, you want to find these little power-ups that keep you moving. And then High Quality made the game where you're hitting baseballs into a city street, basically, and the ball can land and collect power-ups and keep moving. So yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. And it could, if you chain together, the combos, you get those really satisfying moments where it just goes flying way further than it could have because of the power-ups. So I love that idea.
But I think the graphics are really nice. Look at the sand texture on is fantastic. Like, I don't even see a seam in here. Do you see?
Yeah.
I don't even see a seam. It's really nice.
It's a very legit tiling sand texture. Very nicely done.
The tank looks fantastic. My real complaint is your Hulk guy. He just looks kind of like a watermelon guy.
It looks a little too much like AI Hulk made from watermelons. Yeah.
He's like a giant jelly belly man. But yeah, I think this is cool. I think it needs a little bit of polish. I think some of the you got room for some reward on the bouncing. I do know that I do feel that you gave it to me with the destruction of the tank each time it lands, and I really appreciate that. But I do need a little bit more, I feel, and I want to be able to get further down the line without having to rely solely on the main mechanic, which is twirling it around. So I think that once it's shot down, maybe you can hit some explosive barrels or landmines or something that has to do with either Hulk or tanks or battle to keep the character going further down the field. Or maybe like when he hits, each time a piece breaks off, but he bounces back up in the air, and eventually you're just a turret at the end and you're bouncing down the road, and then that would be the end of the game. And each time you bounce, losing pieces kind of is your health, so to speak.
All good feedback. I think those are all great ideas. But it's super original. It's very fun. The concept just makes me laugh. So I think it's a great game. I agree with what Toxic said. I'd love to see a little bit more polish and maybe tighten up a few things, but you've got a really good concept. So you're really just in the polish phase. I do like those extra feature ideas too as well. So I would consider them. It's your game. You should always do your own thing. But they're definitely ideas worth thinking about. All right, well, I got to run, but thank you, Toxic. You've been super helpful. And of course, thank you to the great Pika P for keeping us all on track. Thank you to every member of Astro Academy who's shown up today with your games. They were great. And again, to anyone that's not in Astro Academy, first question is why not? What is wrong with you? But if you are just kind of just on your own making games, we do still want you to show up in office hours. So thank you for showing up and kind of bearing with us as we get the balance worked out. We will hopefully find better and better ways over time to get everybody's game shown more regularly. But in the meantime, I think we're making progress. So thanks again, guys. Another great office hours, and I will see you soon. I actually may not be here tomorrow or Monday. We've got a couple people, Monvi in particular, that will help alongside Toxic and the usual. So we will still have this held at the same time tomorrow. I may not be here. I may be here. I may not. I haven't figured it out yet. But I will definitely be back completely normal time schedule indefinitely starting next Tuesday. So I'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, Alex.
Bye, guys.
Am I going to host office hours? No, I'm going to help Monvi back it up. Oh. Come on, I can't keep the attention like those people can keep the attention. I don't have that wonderful, beautiful voice that Alex has got. More of like a support character, you know? I'm not like the main character in a movie. I'm more of just like the supporting actor. Oh, well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you. Coming from you, that means a lot, boy FRD. Alright, well, we're going to move down to the lounge. And if you didn't get your games tested out during Academy, I would like to prioritize those first. But I do need to take a 5-minute break, and then I will get to your games. And I will just use the list that Pika already had for us, so... Alright, moving down.